Hey, welcome back to my last ever breast cancer journey vlog. If you are new here, my name is Lindy. I'm a 46-year-old mother of 4 and I have just beaten breast cancer. So today's final vlog is going to be basically what it was like to live with cancer, or what was it like to be treated for breast cancer. So I'm literally just going to go through everything from my diagnosis to the whole process of what it's been like for me this year. Hopefully it's not going to take too long, and I'm hoping I can just get it out in one piece so that I can just literally go from here to uploading it straight to you guys, because I've been a little bit late this week. I'm sorry, with Christmas and December and being Christmas. Today's the 27th, so I hope you have all had a very, very wonderful Merry Christmas. I have had Christmas, of course, and I've got a video that I will put out eventually. All right. So how am I going to... I've got notes. And I can't see. I keep fogging up, so... Oh, we're going to take them off. Oh, let's start... No. Don't start with the hair. But look, can you see that it's got, like, direction? Am I even doing it the right direction? Okay. So introduction. Who am I? As I said, I am Lindy. I'm a 46-year-old mother of 4. I'm a nurse. And that's me. So I started this I don't know what made me record myself when I very first got diagnosed, but I have recorded myself from my diagnosis on. And the original idea was just so that I could look back on my year and look back on it and just see what this journey was like for me, and then also hoping to connect with other people going through cancer, as well as helping people go through cancer, even if it's just knowing that what they're feeling is normal, or maybe I'm telling you something that you didn't already know. Yeah, so I apologize in advance if this is long. Okay, so how was I diagnosed? I was diagnosed through routine mammogram. I decided in January last year, we're very close to my 1-year anniversary, that I just wanted to start the year fresh. Being 45, I just wanted to have a health check, make sure that I was going into middle age healthy. So just went for a standard mammogram. I had one not quite 2 years prior. It was like 21 months, I think it ended up being. So yeah, not thinking anything of it. I did know that going in there, the chances of me having an ultrasound of my breasts were high, because I did have implants, cosmetic implants in. So that was the case. And while they were at ultrasound, they said that they could see what they thought was scar tissue. And because I had just had surgery a year earlier, that was feasible. But they did decide to do a biopsy at that time. Like they said, I could come back, but I just wanted to have it at that time. So that day I did actually, while I was waiting in between all my appointments, I was at Breast Screen Australia for 6 hours that day. Got a fine too, actually. So yeah, so while I was waiting and in between appointments, I went and saw what did end up being my surgeon. He had a feel around. He told me that it didn't feel like anything. He couldn't feel anything really suspicious in there. I did have cystic breasts, mind you. So, I mean, literally to the point that if I was laying down, I could see bumps from cysts. So yeah, so that was that. And then I went back, I don't know how long later, a week later, 3 days later, I'm not sure. And again, I was recalled because I was told that I was just going to have to go back for results regardless. So I have gone back in naive, and yeah, they basically just said it wasn't what we thought. It's cancer. I broke down. I was on my own because I didn't think it was going to be cancer. But yeah, I just remember in the beginning I was very, very naive. Because they told me, in the beginning they told me that it was 2 little 1 centimetre and a 2 centimetre tumour is what they could see. I was told straight away that it was grade 2, and I was told that something else. It was grade 2, I don't know, something else. And then, that it would probably be just a simple lumpectomy and some radiation. But that was from the nurses, so that wasn't So from that point, I went and saw my GP. So I had to go to my GP to get a referral done off. So I went and saw my GP, and I had been seeing this GP for quite several years, and I was never really happy with her, but I'd never ever had to go to her for anything important. But she was always good, because if I needed referrals anywhere, she was always good for that sort of stuff. But she never ever spent time with us, or it was always just, I don't know. Anyway, so I went to her that day, and I asked her what all these results meant, because I just didn't know. And all she said was, "Oh my God. Oh my God." Seriously, that's what my GP said to me. Didn't tell me anything. So I left her that day, and I've never been back to her, and I found a new really lovely GP. But anyway, so she sent my referral off. Was a Cat 1. I'm not sure if all breast cancers are Cat 1, but I was a Cat 1. So in Queensland, that means that I just had to be seen by the surgeon within 4 weeks of that referral. So I was seen within 3 weeks of that referral. And that day I was given the choice of a lumpectomy, a single mastectomy, or a double mastectomy. It was not... Nothing was really explained to me properly. I was not happy with my surgeon at all. But if you want to see anything about that, go back to the beginning of my journey, and you'll see me in tears lots. It was quite stressful. It wasn't explained to me properly. But anyway, so he let me go home and think about that for... that day he had another feel around my breast. Now that it was absolutely confirmed it was breast cancer, he had another feel around and still told me that it did not feel like cancer. It ended up being a 5-centimetre tumour in my right breast, and he told me that it did not feel like cancer. I had implants, as I said, so basically as he was pushing down on the lump would then sort of soften into my implant, therefore not giving you the full size. It's like, rather than it pushing against my chest wall, it was sinking in, and so that was why, I guess, he said it didn't feel like cancer. So anyway, I had a week to go home and make my decision, hardest decision of my life. So I was told that if I had a double mastectomy, I wouldn't need radiation. If I had a lumpectomy or a single mastectomy, I would still need that. Ultimately, I chose a double mastectomy, as you can see. My choices were that because I wanted to reduce my risk. I didn't want to be lopsided, and I don't know, I think that was my 2 reasons. Honestly, I don't know if I'll just wait till I get to I'll get to the hardest part of losing my breasts was losing my nipples, to be honest. We'll get into that when we get down to mastectomy. 3 weeks out of mastectomy, Cat 1, 7. So it was 7 weeks until my mastectomy. So from diagnosis to mastectomy, and that was my first line of treatment, was mastectomy. And so I worked all up through that. I didn't tell anyone. We only told very close family and friends. I basically announced it on the day of my mastectomy. Okay. So I'll just go into the feelings of my mastectomy just while I remember and don't forget. I was actually okay with losing them, surprisingly, because I had fake boobs for 7 years, and I loved my boobs. Like, you can ask anyone. For that 7 years, I loved my boobs. They looked great in clothes. They were not fantastic without clothes, I'll be honest. And then when I had because they were dodgy, the first lot, and then the second lot were dodgy and ended up getting capsular contraction anyway, and so they didn't look that good naked either, but I still loved them. Literally, I was all about my boobs. It was always, I'd let my friends, because people would want to know what false boobs felt like, and I don't know. I was just all about my boobs for 7 years, 6 years. So then to lose both of them, and I honestly wasn't, when I made that choice, I wasn't even concerned about losing them when I had fake ones. I don't know. I'm really sweating. I don't know if you can see that. I should have brought my menopause cloth out here. And for me, I've just gone flat, and I've never hidden it. I haven't worn prosthetics. Mind you, my breast care nurses or no one ever spoke to me about prosthetics or getting prosthetics or how I go about prosthetics. Sorry, that was just in case any of them ever watch this, that you can see I don't have a lot of, I wasn't happy with my surgeon or my breast care nurses, to be honest. Again, go back to my journals and you'll see I was not happy with them. But yeah, so I absolutely have embraced being flat. And I don't know if I'm going to have a reconstruction at this stage. I am going to go and see a doctor, see what my options are, and then make the decision at that stage. Okay, so what happened with my mastectomy? The day before my mastectomy, I had to... Okay, I'm all over the place, I'm sorry. After I saw my doctor, the surgeon, for the first time, I got sent for a PET scan, a CT and an MRI. So the MRI is the bigger machine that you do go through. You have the IV in your arm, and yeah, and then you're in that 40 minutes. I'm really sweating. Hang on, I've got to go grab my cloth. Sorry about that, I'm back. Breast cancer caused menopause too. Oh, I was hormone receptive, I didn't tell you that part. Okay, yeah, so that was the MRI. CT is just the smaller, it's like more like a donut than a thing. And so I had both of those. So the day before my mastectomy, I had another CT. Did I have a CT? I don't know if I had a CT. I think I did. I think it's the dye CT. I did have the dye CT. I did. So they had to put dyes, like there was 4 of them around my areola nipple sort of area. Some people say that hurts. It didn't hurt. I thought needles hurt more than that, but some people find that quite painful. That puts a blue dye in that lights up all your sentinel nodes, so that when I had my mastectomy, they took 3 nodes out, I believe. And unfortunately 2 of those did come back positive, so my plan changed. So from not needing chemo, I now needed 4 by AC and 12 by Taxol. I'm sorry, I can't remember what AC is. A sock with something. I don't know. I'll try and put it in. Oh, look how much I skipped. So surgery day. Oh, this is a mess. I'm so sorry. It's kind of like my mind. Anyway, so surgery day was all good. It was just Shane with me. COVID restrictions, of course. But he was allowed to the entrance. And then basically from when I got taken out the back, I was on my own. That was fine. Going into the actual surgery, I was holding my boobs and I was crying. And sorry. The anesthesiologist was so lovely. She was so lovely. She even gave me a hug. She was just really lovely, but all I remember is her being lovely and just holding my boobs as I went under. Sorry. I'll probably cry a few more times. And then the next thing I remember waking up in my room. And then Shane was there and the kids were there and I think Mum was there. I can't remember unless I went back on video. But I just remember going, oh, what does it look like? Is it covered? And just pulling it down, and it wasn't covered. They just had a clear tape across my scars. And so my poor 3 boys, all teenagers, one was 12, 14 and 12, 13 and 16. And I'm just God. Oh, and so my poor boys have got to see it straight away. But they were really good, and one of them has asked once or twice to see it since then, and but that's fine. So yeah, so it was okay. It just mentally I was really comfortable with it and okay with it, which is surprising because I have a lot of anxiety normally. The pain was not too bad at all. It was just you had drains were what made it the worst. As I said, not a lot of pain. It was just tightness in that area, and just restricted with your movement, of course. And then we had to do physio, which was I think 4 times a day I had to do physio. Again, I've got videos on those. Everything is on, I vlogged everything. If you've been here from the beginning or even halfway through, you know I've vlogged it all. Surgery day pain. So when I got my results that it was in my lymph nodes, I not only did my plan change, but I had to go back into surgery 3 weeks later to have my axillary node clearance. I only ended up having nine nodes. That's all they could find, and that's all they could get. Some people have 24, some people have 32. I had a measly 9. But I did find the recovery from the lymph node harder. The restrictions and the pain, not pain, I don't have pain. Just the restrictions, the swelling and all that has all come from the axillary node clearance. As you can see, I have got, so I'm 9 months out from surgery, and I have complete full range of movement with no pain, no nothing. Numbness. So I can feel here, I go numb here, numb, 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 and I can feel down here, numb. Oh no, I can feel my armpit. I have BO. You're not supposed to have BO after radiation. Yeah, so a warning here, I am going to show you my mastectomy scars, so if you do not want to see them, look away. So this is, what did I say, 10 months, 9 months? Oh, hello. So they look pretty good. I got a little dog tag there, but that's all fine. That's my non-cancer side. Oh, sorry, and on my cancer side, and you can see, that's my radiation tattoo, but it's a lot swellier, puffier on this side, but the scars look really good. Oh, far out. And as you can see, I just have this mound here, which I don't like because that's breast tissue, but you know, either way. So that's the scars after 9 months, and honestly, I haven't been the best with moisturizer. Oh, I'm shocking, really. I did become good though with radiation, and I've been pretty good since then to keep up my moisturizer, because if I'm going to get reconstruction, I want that to be as supple as possible. Yes, change your plans. We're going over here. Okay, so to my chemo. So AC, known as the Red Devil. It was awful for me, but nowhere near as bad as what I expected. But I don't like being sick. And it could have been a lot worse. It really could have. The first night dropped me. I was hot and cold flushes. I was vomiting. I was diarrhea. I was anxiety. Yeah, the first night absolutely floored me. But I never had another night like that. The sort of side effects I got, so AC, was I got that 4 times every fortnight. And I started that on the 23rd of April and then finished that on the 4th of June. So my side effects through AC were I had a sore mouth and gums. I bought a really good soft toothbrush, an Oral-B Gum Care toothbrush. Totally recommend that. Tired, I wouldn't say I was fatigued through AC, but I was tired some days. Headaches on and off. I was definitely constipated and had to have Taxol and Senna, like constipation. Now, anytime I have troubles with my bowels, it gives me flashbacks to chemo. Hair loss, of course, but it started, the hair loss started through, like on the 2nd week. It was literally, I lost 7 pubes on the 13th day. On the 14th day, I lost a little handful of hair. And on the 17th day, I shaved it because it was coming out in clumps. Hair loss was pretty horrific at the time, but I pretty quickly embraced it and started going out bald after a few months. And then I have not worn anything on my head since the 1st week of radiation, when I could see hair, but if you were 2 meters away from me, you couldn't see it. But in my head, I had hair again. So yeah, hair. Taste wasn't too bad for me. I know a lot of people lose their taste, but I couldn't have tea, which was my favourite, but it's come back. I can drink that. And but really, generally, my taste wasn't too badly affected, to be honest. And I did lose weight on the AC. I don't know if that was because of stress. But yeah, I definitely lost weight on AC. I got down like 10 kilos lighter than when I started from the beginning of diagnosis, because I'd started losing weight sort of from diagnosis basically. And then that was when I started TikTok. Oh no, I had been doing TikTok from the beginning, sorry, but that was when I really started doing my dances through TikTok, through chemo. So I did the AC, sorry, through my veins, left hand only. They got 3 lots through my hands before they just weren't no good, because okay, so for a couple of months I could literally, if I did this, I could feel my veins from they had just burnt them, not the nurses or anything, but the chemo had burnt my veins through there, but that feels all right at the moment now. And my veins were just not behaving, and because I also had to get blood tests every single week with chemo, or every day before chemo I had to get a blood test, and I could only again go out of this arm because I've had lymph nodes removed. We were really struggling with veins. So we had a PICC put in on the 11th of June, which is just before my 4th AC. That was really scary. Again, did a video on that. There was no need for it to be scary. It wasn't scary at all, but I had anxiety. But that was a lifesaver. Like, even though it was annoying because I had to shower like this, absolutely, I am so glad I actually went a PICC over a port. A port would have been 2 more surgeries. Ports can still be painful and they can have a lot of problems with them, where the PICC was just so easy. They just cleaned it every week before chemo and loved it. Yeah, so then from there we went on to Taxol. So I had Taxol every week for 12 weeks. I found that one had a little bit more side effects, but not like, I had nausea and vomiting. Yeah, so because AC was more a sick type of side effect, where I wasn't really sick at all with Taxol. I got a little bit of energy back, but at the end I was quite fatigued, sore muscles, just effort to keep your arms up, and definitely fatigued towards the end. Hair loss continued, of course, through that, and hair loss continued until after, actually, and then I ended up shaving it. I continually had a runny nose through Taxol, to the point that basically my blood vessels were broken, and every time I blew my nose, or if my nose would drip, like into a COVID, like if I had my mask on for COVID and my nose had dripped, I would have blood, or pink, in my tissue. There's always, when I'm blowing my nose, there was always blood, because my nose, it was never pain, but it was just a constant drip. My nails, they're looking pretty good, but I have documented them throughout there. Look at them ones. Shredded my nails. They are still really weak. I lost 1 toenail. They lifted up from the nail beds. They were discoloured. They were quite painful through the process of it happening, like through chemo. But once sort of chemo finished, I've not really had any pain. It's just growing out, really. Menopause started pretty much through once Taxol started, and it's awful. Hot flushes, insomnia, and is that all I get with it? The hot flushes and the insomnia? They're bad enough. Hot sweats. It's not, I don't know why they call them flushes. I'm sweating out of places I didn't even know you could sweat. And as I said, fatigue and neuropathy. So my neuropathy was not too bad at all. I definitely cannot complain, and it was one of my biggest fears through Taxol, that it was going to stop me, because I know it does stop a lot of people. I do have neuropathy still in my fingertips. Very, very mild. Nothing that's going to affect anything. And now that I'm paying attention to it, I can feel that it has improved since the last time the doctor asked me about my neuropathy. And I have actually been invited to another breast cancer trial. So I've been invited to 2 now. So this one is about neuropathy, and apparently they're going to send me something, balls with that emit electricity or something. I don't know. Socks. I don't know, but I'm really excited to be part of another clinical trial. My other clinical trial, sorry, I'll just chuck it in, but my other clinical trial I'm involved in is the care that you receive after breast cancer, so like this year after cancer, and going through my GP and, you know, that sort of stuff. It's in one of my last vlog, I think. I actually talked about it. It was quite hard. So yes, and my feet, I would get shooting pains through them, like, but it was never consistent. Now, so what did we say I am? 16 weeks out since finishing chemo, Shane's home. I have numbness in all of my toes and in some parts of the base of my feet. Again, nothing major. I can still, like if I'm on rocky stuff, I can feel it still. I do worry if I get a bindi in my foot and I'm not going to feel that, but yeah, as I said, I don't know if they're improving. They kind of like change and swap, and I've also noticed, and I have to ask my oncologist next time I see him, I get now, since chemo, electric shocks. It's like pins and needles, but it's like a patch like this, and like a electric shock of patch of pins and needles here and here and here and here, and just weird spots over my body for no reason. It'll just like be, you're like, oh. I don't know if that's related. I've never experienced it before, only since chemo, and to me it feels neuropathic, like maybe that my pathways are lighten up. That's what I'm thinking, nursing wise, that's what I'm thinking. Yes, so mental health throughout the chemo, I think I actually stayed pretty good. I didn't see a psychologist. I did see a psychologist in the very, very beginning, and I just didn't find her helpful. Wasn't for me. I've been to a lot of counsellors over my life, and I just prefer to deal with shit in my head or with my friends and family type thing. So yeah, I think my mental health did really, really well. It affected our sex drive, because basically we couldn't, not sex drive, sex life, because while you're on chemo, you really can't, we can't be swapping fluids, because you're poisonous. I'm poisonous. So yeah, that was pretty much affected. But we're both okay with it, and it's all good. He's still in there. Yes, so from there, so Taxol was from the 18th of June to the 3rd of September. Then I had 3 weeks break. Oh no, I had 4, 5. It was nearly 5 weeks, I think. It was a lot longer than it should have been. So from the 7th of October to the 11th of November, I did radiation daily. And that was really quick, where with chemo, you're kind of in the hospital for hours. And so you build a real rapport with your nurses. And, you know, I did, because I was dancing. Like, I'm dancing through oncology, and you definitely knew I was there. So yeah, you build this rapport up with your nurses, but then when you come to radiation, you're kind of there. 90% of the time I was like called in within sort of 5 to 10 minutes. They can't talk to you in there because they're lining you up, and you know, I had to lay like this and whatever else I had to do. I had to do the breathing. But yeah, so you don't really get to build that rapport, and it wasn't as fun. But so yeah, I did have to do the breath holds, even though my cancer was on the right side. So before the radiation, I had to go for another CT. So this was a radiation mapping CT. So that was just where they were basically lining up where the cancer was and where they're going to be aiming and all that kind of stuff. Where I got my 3 tattoos. Oh, so you got one there, one there, and one down here. Yep, and at that point, my radiation oncologist noticed on the CT mapping scan that a lymph node lit up in my central area. They did mention that previously, but they kind of just brushed it off in the beginning. And I did ask again about it, and they kind of just brushed it off. Oh, that'll be picked up in radiation. And it was picked up in radiation. So they just did a more targeted area to that specific point as well. And I think that was why I had to do my breathing in. I'm not 100% sure. And because of that, I now actually get a follow-up CT just of my chest, which most people don't after stage 2 breast cancer. So I'm thankful for that. So that is in February, I believe I've got that booked, my CT, to follow up on that. My skin was really, I had no issues at all with my skin, to be honest. It did get a little bit sunburnt and stingy, and I got tiny, tiny blisters, but I didn't break down. I used Mugu. I used the thicker one. I bought the wrong one, but apparently it wasn't because it worked. Yeah, so I put a Mugu on twice a day, and I'd wait for that to dry, and then once that dried, I used Strata XRT that the radiation clinic supplied. And I just kept that up for 2 weeks after, and now I just moisturise. And look, I've got no, you can't even see really hardly where I've had radiation, so I was very, very, very lucky. It did cause fatigue though too, towards the end of it, and once it stopped actually, I found the fatigue sort of hit in then, but it wasn't too bad. I was kind of sleepy most days though after I'd had radiation, but it wasn't fatigue, it was just I'd have a little nap. And from that point, we're now into the 1st of December, and I had my hysterectomy. So I was really, really lucky being in the public system. I mentioned to my oncologist very, very early on that I wanted a hysterectomy because I'm hormone positive. They need to block all my hormones, basically. And my choices were hysterectomy, or I'd have to take Zoladex, which is an injection into your belly once a month to put you into menopause. I didn't want to do that. I'm a nurse. I have given that injection, and I didn't want it. I didn't want it. It scared me. And I just wanted a hysterectomy, just why? I'm 46. And I was very, very lucky that she also took out my uterus. I chose to have a complete and total hysterectomy because to me I'm just reducing risk of any further cancer, female hormone-based cancers of uterine and ovarian and cervical. So that was why I chose to have a complete and total hysterectomy. And I have started now, only yesterday, Boxing Day. I was actually supposed to start Christmas Day and I forgot my first tablet. So yes, I have started my AIs yesterday, so I cannot go into side effects of those at this point. But the hysterectomy, it wasn't too bad actually. I did that at the private hospital. I only stayed in the 1 day. I should have stayed 2, but who cares? I was a nurse, played the card. So the actual surgery, I don't remember anything from the beginning. I remember the anesthesiologist saying, oh, you're going to have a catheter, which you do have a catheter on a hysterectomy. Oh, you're going to have a catheter, I'll give you a good sleep. And I said, no, anesthetic makes me vomit. He goes, no, it's okay, you'll sleep through it. I vomited for the next 10 hours after waking up, and then I vomited the next day, and then I vomited 2 days after that. Like, I will never forget that anesthesiologist's face. And I know his name starts with B. When someone tells you anesthesia makes them sick, listen to them. Yeah, the vomiting was bad. I definitely have not given this hysterectomy as much credit as it deserved. I thought with everything that I had been through that this was the last thing and this was going to be easy, and it has absolutely floored me. I think I cried every single day for the first 10 days. The hot flushes were just ridiculous the first week. I'm talking they were just constant. They have settled back down to what they were prior. But that first week, my bowels, I've sort of been constipated because you're not allowed to push. I'm not allowed to do pelvic floor. I can start doing pelvic floor exercises, I think, from 4 weeks. But just like achy in the tummy for that first sort of week or two, especially if I stood too long, you would feel it. I spent the first week in bed. I really didn't move much. The second week I did too much, which wasn't even a lot, but it was too much. For instance, on the 10th day, which I shouldn't have done, I just went and watched a Christmas parade and then went to the shop and then stopped at a creek, just like for 5 minutes. And that was probably a 100-meter walk, and I came home and I was a mess. Like, I don't know if I'd heat stroked or what, but I literally felt like my brain was short-circuiting. Like, I just could not get more than 3 to 4 words out to try and tell Shane what was wrong with me. It's quite scary, actually. But I just stripped off, drank lots of water, stood in front of the air conditioner, and I sort of felt okay within, 10, 15 minutes, and then was just kind of tired for the rest of the day. Did I learn? No, I didn't. But yes, I'm now 4 weeks out. What's today? Sunday, Monday? Monday. So I'm 4 weeks out on Wednesday, and I still tire easily. I'm talking, if I stand up, if I do something for 2 hours, I'm exhausted. Like, I didn't feel like this through any of my treatment. That's where I'm saying this hysterectomy has absolutely floored me. But I have a friend that's had a hysterectomy, and I've spoken to other people who've had hysterectomy, and they do assure me that it takes 5 to 6 weeks before you start feeling yourself. So I hope so, because I'm tired. Just exhausted, just always exhausted. I want to start walking again, but I haven't. And even when I do, I swear I'm only going to walk 500 meters or something. It's not. So yeah, so that's been my year. How have we handled it? Financially, it's been hard, really hard. I've learned a lot of valuable lessons about money. I'm just glad that I was always a good budgeter and I had savings, and it's just I have struggled with not having a paycheck. Do you know what I mean? Like, your whole life you earn money, and I'm not earning money. The only money I'm earning is out of my savings account. So that's been really hard. Mentally, I think we've done well. I think mentally I've dipped a little bit since my hysterectomy. Not into depression or anything like that, but definitely there are some days where it's just a bit harder than others. And it's not even that I'm thinking about stuff as such. It's just emotions, I guess. And then that could come down to post-hysterectomy and all my hormones and everything changing. I gained a lot of weight through Taxol. I gained like 10 kilos or something through Taxol, and I have been losing that. Not really trying, not eating super bad, but I am starting to lose a little bit of weight, thank goodness. So the kids and Shane, it's been hard. I think the kids just seem to have they just seem so resilient. I don't know, it just doesn't seem to have affected them, to be honest, really. They just, my middle one, Tom, seems to ask more questions or, you know, be more involved in sense. He's the only one that came up to Taxol with me. The other two don't really. I mean, they'll listen to me if I tell them stuff, but they don't really ask or anything like that. Shane's been my rock, and it's been hard on him. But oh yeah, since my hysterectomy, sorry, after my hysterectomy I had to have a blood thinner too, belly shot in my belly. But surprisingly, I didn't even, sorry, I'm over the place again. I'm having another hot flush. What was, sorry, side effects from my hysterectomy, sorry. Didn't mention the sex drive. Mine's gone up. We can't do anything. Like, it's broken for another 2 weeks. But I know that she's wanting to work. So that's good, because the forums scared me a lot. They told me that she was going to shrink and die, and I know I'm only fresh to menopause, but I'm just excited that I know that she's still active. I do think she's shrinking. I'm pretty sure. That's it. I've had a lot of support from family and friends. I've had my auntie came down from Sydney to help me through my mastectomy. I've had people cook me dinners. I've had people buy me things to help me get through, like this, and I don't know, lots. I've had so much support from friends and family. Haven't really heard from work, but you know. I've had so much support from you guys and from TikTok, and I know I've mentioned it in many of my YouTubes, that I don't know if you understand how much you have helped me through this, and you have helped my keep my spirits up, and the few of you that continually interact with me, I appreciate you so much. And you really have made this journey easier for me, and I've really enjoyed making my journals. Yeah, so from here, hopefully, I'm going back to work in 3 weeks. hopefully, it's been a battle because of the graduated return to work stuff. It's all a bit complicated, but I'm ready and raring to go, other than being a bit tired. But by 3 weeks, everyone's telling me I'll be fine. And if I'm not, I am not going to push it. I am not going to go back to work if I physically don't feel well. So, yep. And we're just going to face 2022 with gutso, and hopefully I can work as much as I used to work, and if not, then I'll adjust my life and we will adjust our lives. But that is my cancer journey. I am sorry I rambled. I'm sorry I talked fast in some spots. I'm sorry if I missed anything. Please ask me anything in the comments, and I can do a question and answer vlog. So anything I've missed, I know I would have missed stuff, and I know because I got it all out of order. You all know how messy my head is. So please ask lots of questions. I'm happy to have you here, and yeah, we're going to signing out from my final ever breast cancer journey vlog. As of next year, it will be life after breast cancer. Thank you again. Until then, Merry Christmas, and thank you for being there for me.